others will want to publicize that pretty widely too, because obviously childcare is essential for getting us back to work. So we're going to send out an email, probably not today, but an email to all our business licensees. Get it on the social media, and Corey has the information. He'll be getting it out. So just want to let you know that the county's working on grants to childcare providers. That's all we know about it. So the other thing I wanted to mention is we've been advised again by the state, by Business Oregon, that various credit unions in the state, and we have a listing of the credit unions, have money that they can lend out to small businesses. And I know we've been getting that word out. Corey's gotten it out. We've gotten it out. We just want to make sure that people know that there's still emergency grants available through credit unions, certain credit unions that were authorized by the state. So we'll keep getting that word out, but we just want to make sure you know. And then lastly, but not least, is the fact that on August the 20th, we're going to be hosting the Chamber in the City, the Banner Bank series. Banner Bank helps to fund it along with Metro, the Metro government. Education program for small businesses and entrepreneurs. This one's going to be a panel with a tax and succession planner attorney, with a business banker, obviously from Banner Bank, as well as with a business accountant to help businesses with succession planning, tax issues, and what have you. So that's all I've got. That's quite a bit, I guess.
Okay. Thank you. I don't really have anything to add, so thanks for those announcements. So given that this is what we're calling our open mic session, the few of us that are on the call, if anyone wants to unmute and share anything that they may want to share, ask questions, anything that you feel like the chamber, the city can help with, then we are all ears. Exactly. All right. Well, since there's few of us on, I'm gonna pick on those that are on the line. Renee, you were first to jump on. I know you're busy over there at the Good Neighbor Center. Any updates? Anything that you want to share about the Good Neighbor Center? Or I know you're on City Council. Anything from the City Council that you want to share?
I was mostly on to hear. Whoa.
Sorry, I'll mute.
I was mostly on to hear from others to find out what questions and stuff were out there. As far as what's going on here, it's business as usual as far as serving our clients. We are still not fully accepting donations like we have in the past. We're waiting for phase 2. We have implemented new policies and procedures so that when we are ready, we're ready to launch effectively, but it'll be different than what we've been used to. We still aren't accepting our volunteers yet, so we're still operating with just staff, which means extra hours a lot of times. But the good news is we're able to serve our clients effectively and efficiently. We've been able to house many, and so in that respect, it's been successful. It's not without its challenges, because we do have to mask up, and we have to ask our residents to mask up, and they don't like to do that. So we're facing that challenge, but so is everybody else. Otherwise, I don't have anything else going on.
Okay, thanks, Renee. Lynn is on from PCC Newburgh. Lynn, do you have anything to add? Any questions or comments you want to share? I don't know if she's on mute or not, but we cannot hear you, Lynn. She just messaged. Yeah, she's in the chat right now. Well, if you have anything, go ahead and add it to the chat, Lynn. I'm not sure what's happening with the sound, but feel free to add it to the chat, and we'll come back to you. And looks like Mark joined us. Ever faithful Mark always joins us every week, so we appreciate that.
What's up, man?
Mark, you have any questions or comments about anything?
Well, obviously my comments are you're doing a great job, and I appreciate the work that you're doing. Both Bruce and Corey, you guys are doing a great job. And Renee, obviously not to leave you out as well. You're doing a great job. I think I misunderstood because for some reason I thought we were having a school-related, even though I'm getting on late, 10 minutes, my bad. I thought we were going to have a school-related presentation today, and maybe I misunderstood that was noticed on last night's forums.
No, so actually 3 days ago, you would have been correct. We did have Superintendent Cordy scheduled to speak today. However, after speaking with her and knowing that they were having their event last night and they have a big board meeting tonight, she just felt like it would be better if we held off for another couple of 3 weeks and gave them some time to kind of put all their ducks in a row so that what they had to share would be meaningful and not subject to change in the next couple of weeks. So she will be on September 2nd, I think is the date. She will come back on.
And sorry, maybe I can add that Corey also tried very hard to get Commissioner Rogers to be the speaker today, but that also didn't work. But he will be next week, right? So we can't always have a speaker, but we can always listen to what you're saying.
Well, we do have speakers. We got 3 good speakers right now that I'm looking at.
I love it.
Okay, so Lynn just in the chat says that she will try and figure out what's going on with her teams and maybe come back another time and share some information about what's happening with PCC Newburgh. So,
sorry. I was going to say, Lynn, we're always interested in what you're doing and how we can work with you and the folks that you work with at PCC in Newburgh to make sure that Sherwood is involved and supportive of what you're doing and helping grow our businesses and workforce here.
and I would add too, Lynn, that you just heard Bruce talk a little bit about our education series. If you have, I'm not sure exactly what programs you have at the Newburgh Center, but if you have any kind of a business related program, entrepreneurial program, any and all of your students are welcome to join our education series. So thanks to Banner Bank and Metro with the grant we received, we're able to do this at no charge to anyone that wants to participate. So if there's a way that we can get the word out through some social media channels or emails, or that you can forward for the class, then we're happy to get that information to you. Renee, you asked, or you mentioned masks. I'll just throw out that the Chamber, via Washington County Visitors Association and Clean Water Services, has access to some KN95 masks. We've gotten a few boxes, and the ones I have now are all allocated to those that responded to my email a little bit ago, but I am getting some more probably later today or tomorrow. So if you or anyone that's listening needs some of those kinds of masks, they come in boxes of 50, and I can probably only give about 1 box for each business based on the numbers that I'm getting. But feel free and let me know, and we'll figure out a way to get a box to you.
Well, definitely keep us in mind. Definitely keep us in mind because with 9 families, we go through a lot of masks.
Will do. Yeah, sorry about the feedback. I think it has something to do with when it's recording and I'm not muted. So I'm not sure what happens there, but yes, we'll definitely, let you know. Do you want me to hang on to a box for you, or do you need them? Okay, I'll hang on to a box for you and we'll figure out a way to get them to you.
So maybe I can add, maybe I can add that we have been told that the county is going to be providing masks for businesses to these new business recovery centers. We don't know when that is. I'm pestering the county. I tend to do that. and I'm nicely pestering them to say, once you know, and once the Business Recovery Center knows, please let us know so we can get the word out that there's masks out there for businesses to have. So we're trying to watch over that.
You're doing a good job, Bruce.
Thank you. Trying.
You're one of the best of nicely pestering people, Bruce.
Yeah, I could say, please let us know. And then if I haven't heard anything in a few days, we really would love to know. We want to work in partnership, that kind of thing. Nudge a little bit.
I think there's some salespeople out there that could learn well from you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else. It looked like is Joe still on? It looks like he piped in, he joined us. I don't know if he can connect, but do you have anything to add, Joe, if you're on still?
Yes, I've been driving and listening, so sorry. So one thing, there's not a big audience, but I want to make sure the business community is aware of this. So the city council has been working with staff on potentially creating a new urban renewal district in Sherwood. And next Tuesday night, we'll have another work session update on that process. The council hasn't formally directed staff to take the steps to create a new district, but my sense is that's where we're heading, and maybe Councilor Browse might want to chime in on this as well. It gets very complicated because we have a current urban renewal district, which will be closing down soon, and there are limits on how much acreage you can have in the city of Sherwood or any city in terms of how much land can be within an urban renewal district. So we've been going through a process with consulting folks to figure out how much we can shrink the current urban renewal district and still cover our debt, and create some additional areas in town, especially the Tonkin employment area, where we want to see continued job growth and development. And that's a process that if the council green lights us to move forward, it'll probably be a good 6 to 9 months, and there'll be public input to that whole process to create a new urban renewal district. And I don't think we've mentioned that in these weekly meetings, and more to come, but that's something that Bruce has been working very hard with Julia and myself to kind of move forward. So,
and we're pretty optimistic that we have a potential solution for it all, which we'll present to council Tuesday night, right?
So if you have any interest at all, watching that work session virtually on Tuesday would be worthwhile.
Yeah, I haven't wrapped my head around the UGB as much as I would like to, but in recollection, there's like 3 different scenarios that we can work from to bring into the UGB. So it's a really interesting conversation. Joe, the stuff that you sent out last night, that's what that's about, correct?
What did I send out last night?
Well, maybe it wasn't last night. You sent out something recently to prepare us for Tuesday, so I'm assuming it's probably that.
Yeah, that was something else for a different thing on Tuesday related to solid waste.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind. Anyway, it'll be a good conversation. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Hey, Renee.
Yes, sir.
Just to make sure I'm following you, I think did you say UGB when you meant to say URA?
I meant to say URA. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Thanks for the correction.
Well, I just want to, in case someone goes back and watches it later, that they think, wait a minute, UGB.
UGB, URA. Yeah, URA. Thank you.
There's a little bit of a difference there. So
yeah, there's a big difference. Now you know I'm not perfect anymore, Mark.
I know. Okay.
Oh, come on. What are you doing?
Just joking.
Hey, this was a wonderful dynamic conversation. Thank you. You know, I'm going to mention something else, and that we're not announcing it yet.
Hey, hold on, Bruce. Can I get you to hang on? I have a follow-up question to all of that. So before we move away from that,
I'll be quiet.
yeah, so for laymen like me that aren't as involved in city politics and all the terminology and the language, could one of you maybe just take a minute and tell us what an urban renewal district means and why a business might care about that?
So Bruce, why don't you go take a stab at that? I'm going to
Yeah,
go get my
I
lunch.
will. Let me make sure that I'm not getting feedback. So an urban renewal area, we've got one right now that covers essentially the town center, the old town area, and it's been a way for the city to reinvest in that area. You've seen new buildings developed as a result of that over a period of time. It's really, in a sense, a reinvestment zone. It's no new taxes being created. There's no new tax revenue or new taxes imposed on businesses for it. What we're doing now is we're looking at the Tonkin employment area and some areas along 99W, two particular areas, what I think of as the South Gateway and the North Gateway along 99W. And we're looking at how can we create an urban renewal district, an urban renewal area that will allow us to generate funds, and I'll explain how that's done in a minute, but allow us to generate funds so we can reinvest. The Tonkin employment area has been a challenge, I think, over the years because we haven't had a funding source to invest in new roads and infrastructure in that area. And now we're starting to see some pretty serious development interest in Tonkin, but we're trying to figure out how we're going to get some of the infrastructure in place for that. And there's a similar opportunity both on the north part of 99W, where there's some vacant land, and in the south part of 99W, not too far from the high school, but where there's vacant land down there, which the council has been looking at as an area to also include in an urban renewal area, urban renewal district. And it's a little hard to explain it, but it's a way of capturing new revenue that comes in as a result of development that occurs in that area, and using that revenue in essence to reinvest in that zone. It is not a tax on existing property, new tax on existing property owners or on businesses. It's simply a reallocation of tax money that would otherwise not come in if we didn't find a way to build infrastructure in those areas. I hope that's somewhat clear. It's fairly hard to explain. There's easier ways to explain it. Joe probably explains it easier than I do. Did we lose Joe? We lost Joe.
No, I'm eating my lunch, so I'm muted. No, I think you did a great job. It is very complicated, and Councilor Browse, you know much more about this than you give yourself credit because it is kind of wonky. It's been a very successful tool for the city of Sherwood for the last 15, 20 years. A lot of what you see in Old Town really is because of the urban renewal district. City Hall in the library was partially built through URA funds. All the infrastructure, the roads being redone in terms of the underground utilities and the concrete paving and the new sidewalks, all urban renewal. The Arts Center had urban renewal funds. Cannery Square had urban renewal funds. So a lot of the things that we look to and largely look at in a positive manner in Old Town really came out of a successful urban renewal district that is nearing its completion. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're looking at it as a tool for these other areas. But like I said, we'll need to have public input in a public process to go through over the next 6 to 9 months. Newburgh, if you follow local governments, Newburgh's just a little bit ahead of us. They are looking at creating a new urban renewal district in their city for a lot of the same reasons. And this tool is pretty widespread within Oregon. So,
yeah, and our neighbor Tualatin is working on something similar for some of their employment areas. And the key is to find a way to fund roads and other infrastructure, particularly in Tonkin, and to do it to attract investment, private investment developers to that area who can then help us bring companies end user businesses into Tonkin.
And another piece of infrastructure that's unique, and one of the reasons we're looking along 99 near the new high school, is we want to be able to find another tool potentially to fund a pedestrian bridge across that state highway.
So, as you know, Mark has also been following it and has expressed an interest to me in terms of keeping abreast of it. So we suspect Mark will probably want to listen in also Tuesday evening.
Well, yeah, as Joe said, that'd be a great tool to potentially get that bridge constructed. And I'm hopeful that the session earlier in the week that there weren't any implications to that funding at the state level. I haven't heard anything yet, but hopefully, that funding is still there and that bridge can happen sooner rather than later.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Bruce, I cut you off before. You can continue on with your thought.
I was just going to mention, I don't like to take a lot of time on announcements. Today seems to be an okay day to do that. So as the council knows, we're working on getting funding from Business Oregon, which is the state economic development agency, and from Washington County. It's CARES Act dollars from Washington County. So that we can create some new small business grant programs for the city. And the council has approved the agreements with both the county and with the state government for us to get additional funds. The CARES Act funds distributed through the county are in the range of $248,000 that would come to us for small business grants. And then the Business Oregon grant is $35,000, but every penny counts to businesses that need these grants. So we're working on that now. We've gotten obviously council approval. We're not ready to really announce the program yet. They're a little bit more complicated than we would like because they're coming from. They're not as easy as the March program that we did, which was city money that didn't have a lot of rules and regulations. So we're working those out now, and we're preparing application forms, but we're not ready to announce the programs yet, but we're getting closer. And we realize how important it is to get grant money out to our businesses. So we just want to let you know this is coming.
And staff is doing a great job putting together the criteria for that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, as you know. And we're hoping, we want to make it as easy, Joe, and we were just talking about today, we want to make it as easy as we can for our customers, if you would. But these are not easy programs. They're not one-page applications, I'm afraid. We have a lot of reporting to do back to the county and to the state government. And so they're going to be a little bit more complicated, but we're going to try to make it as easy as we can. We get it that a restaurant business is in the restaurant business. They don't want to be in the paperwork business. But there is paperwork with this, so we'll help them as much as we can.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Thanks, Counselor.
Yeah, and I'll just echo that on behalf of the business community. I know that it's all appreciated, all the efforts and the time and energy spent in finding and identifying and doing what's necessary to make those funds available to our businesses. So we really appreciate that work from the city.
So that's all I have.
Okay, well, I don't think I have anything else. Anyone else want to share anything? Okay, well, thanks everybody. Mark, to answer your chat question, in addition to the school district in early September, Commissioner Roy Rogers will be our guest next week, and we're working on some other elected officials. If anybody has any thoughts or ideas on other potential guests, we're happy to take those suggestions and reach out and make those connections. So feel free to share if you've got any ideas. So with that, thanks everybody for joining us this week, and have a good rest of your week, and maybe we'll see you next week.
Thank you all.